The 10 shortest NBA players of all time. The NBA is the land of giants. Being under 6 foot tall is a death sentence for so many talented college players. It is nearly impossible to succeed when you are that short in a league that has an average height of 6'6". In the US, just 14.5% of adult males are over 6 foot tall. In the NBA, there are only a handful under 6 foot tall. In fact, there are a lot more players over 7 foot tall than players under 6 foot tall. Still, some players have managed to not only make it into the NBA, but have successful careers lasting more than a decade despite being under 6 foot tall. Let's take a look at the 10 shortest players in NBA history and see what kind of careers they had. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe after watching our video. Number 10. Charlie Crist, 5'8". Maybe Charlie Crist was some Nordic god returned as he hailed from Valhalla, New York. Crist went to New Mexico State, and despite making the Final Four and playing so well, he would later be named to the school's all-century team. He went undrafted in 1970. It would be a long time before he'd make his NBA debut, nearly 8 years later in fact. Once he got his shot though, Crist stuck, making his NBA debut at age 29. Crist had an 8-year NBA career averaging 11.4 points in his best season. Number 9. Spud Webb, 5'7". You may know this name. Spud Webb may be the most famous short player in the NBA history. This is because, despite being nearly a foot shorter than the average NBA player, Webb won the 1986 NBA dunk contest. He was drafted in 1985 in the 4th round by the Detroit Pistons but failed to make the team. The Atlanta Hawks picked him up 2 days later and thus began Webb's very successful career. He played 12 total NBA seasons and enjoyed his best season in the 1991-92 season when he averaged 16 points and 7.1 assists per game. Number 8. Monte Towe, 5'7". Despite having a very successful college career, Monte Towe only had a brief and forgettable NBA career. Towe played for North Carolina State in college and was a key part of one of the best college basketball teams of the 1970s. North Carolina State went 30-1 his junior year, went undefeated in the ACC, and won the NCAA tournament. Towe averaged 12.8 points per game that season and scored 16 points in the NCAA tournament championship game. Following his senior season, Towe was taken in the 4th round of the NBA draft by the Atlanta Hawks. He didn't make the team. He played 2 seasons for the Denver Nuggets during the time the team made the transition to the NBA. Number 7. Wataru Misaka. We've come to the player with the shortest career on this list, but he also had arguably the most impactful. Wataru Misaka only played in 3 games in his NBA career, but when he suited up for the New York Knickerbockers way back in the 1947-1948 season, he broke the color barrier, not just for Asians, but for all minorities. Misaka was the first non-Caucasian player in the league's history. It would be 3 years after Misaka broke the color barrier in 1947 before the first African Americans joined in 1950. Number 6. Red Klotz, 5'7". Here's another career that didn't last past 1 season when the league was in its infancy, but the significance of the player remains today. Red Klotz played 1 season for the Baltimore Bullets in the 1940s, back when the NBA was still known as the BAA. In that 1 season, however, his team won the NBA championship. Klotz, more than 70 years later, is still the league's shortest player to ever win a title. Following his career, Klotz gained even more notoriety. He made friends with the Harlem Globetrotters and, upon their request, created the Washington Generals. This is the team that traveled with the Globetrotters, and quite often, their opponent in the exhibition games played for fans. He managed the team for more than 50 years and is in the Globetrotters legend ring. Number 5. Keith Jennings, 5'7". Keith Jennings went undrafted out of East Tennessee State University in 1992, but still managed to make the Golden State Warriors in 1992. Jennings lasted 3 seasons with the team and looked to be carving out a nice career after starting 24 games in his 3rd season. It did not last. He was selected in the expansion draft by the Toronto Raptors but failed to make the team. Number 4. Greg Grant, 5'7". The punitive Greg Grant did not play much more than mop-up duty at the end of the bench in his NBA career, but he was good enough to play for 6 different NBA franchises. Taken by the Phoenix Suns in the second round of the 1989 draft, Grant played just 1 season with the team. He then played a year with the New York Knicks before making his way to the Charlotte Hornets the following year. He would also play for the Philadelphia 76ers, Denver Nuggets, and Washington Bullets. Mel Hirsch, 5'6". Yet another early NBA player who didn't last long. It's almost as if teams didn't realize the importance of size in those formative years. Mel Hirsch played just 3 games for the Boston Celtics in 1947. That's enough to make this list. Number 2. Earl Boykins, 5'5". Earl Boykins played recently enough that many of you may recognize him. Boykins enjoyed a long NBA career that saw him play in parts of 3 decades starting in 1999 and ending in 2012. Boykins averaged a career-high 14.6 points in the 2006-2007 season with the Denver Nuggets and Milwaukee Bucks. Boykins actually played for 10 different teams during his career, which is only 2 short of the record. And at number 1, Muggsy Bogues, 5'3". As if being the shortest player in NBA history isn't enough notoriety, Muggsy Bogues was also one of the players immortalized in the 1990 Space Jam movie starring Michael Jordan. Bogues is the only first-round pick on this list as he was taken 12th overall in 1987. Bogues is the only first-round pick on this list as he was taken 12th overall in 1987. He would play in the 2000s with his best season coming in 1993-1994. He averaged a double-double with 10.8 points per game and 10.1 assists. His 7.6 assists per game average is the 20th highest in NBA history. Ironically, in his rookie season, Bogues played with the tallest player in NBA history, Manute Bol. Bol was his teammate with the Washington Bullets, and at 7'7", he was nearly 2.5 feet taller than Bogues.